In the previous workbooks, we've been either using the keyboard shortcut or the run command in the macro dialog box to run the macros. However, if you're going to share this workbook or have this workbook used by people who aren't necessarily familiar with these things, you can add a form control button. And a form control button is just an object placed in the worksheet that you can assign the macro to. You click the button and the macro runs. So to be able to insert form controls, you have to have the Developer tab available on the ribbon. And if your Developer tab is not available, which it won't be in the computer labs, and it may not be on your home computer, you'll go to the File tab, to Options, to Customize Ribbon. You will then make sure to put a check mark next to Developer and click OK, and the Developer tab will be added to the ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Developer tab, and in the Controls group here, there's a button called Insert, and you can see that you can insert form controls and ActiveX controls. We're just going to be concerned with form controls, and what I want to insert is a button, which is the first option. So I'm going to click on the button. I want to put my macro button in G1, and you can see that my mouse pointer has changed to crosshairs, and I just click and drag to draw the button on my worksheet. The second step with this is to assign the macro to the button, so I'm going to click on the company name macro and then click OK. There's my button, but it just has the generic button 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. name on it, so I need to put a more descriptive name on my button so a user that isn't familiar with the workbook knows what that button is for. So with the button selected, I'm just going to type display company name, and as you can see, my button isn't quite large enough to display everything, so I'm going to make some changes. And the first changes I want to make are by doing some formatting to the control. So I pointed to the button and right-clicked on it. And I'm going to choose Format Control. I'm going to leave the font as Calibri. I'm going to make it bold, and I'm going to make it a little smaller by choosing a font size of 10. Click OK. It's still not quite big enough, so I'm going to drag the border of the button over just a little bit. And there's the entire name. Now I'm going to test my button, so I'm going to go ahead and clear the contents of cell A1 and A2, and then click on Display Company Name. Okay, so that's how to create a form button. Now let's quickly take a look, a preview of the worksheet in Backstage View. And even though I inserted that object into the worksheet, you can see that it's not showing up. So I'm going to go back to the worksheet, and I'm going to right click on my form control again on my button, and I'm going to choose Format again. I'm going to go to the Properties tab and choose Print Object and click OK. and then go back to Backstage View, back to the Print Preview, and there you see your object displayed. So back on the Home tab, back into our worksheet, you will see your button being displayed there. If you should want to get rid of that button for whatever reason, maybe you deleted the macro or you decided you don't need the button any longer, we'll right click on the button, press escape, and then press delete, and the button is gone, but your macro remains in the workbook.